Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday from the podcast Nurture the Mind. I am your host, Cole Poots, and we have another music reaction on the channel, and we are going back to Sleep Token. They just dropped another single, and the name of it is Caramel. This is the second single off of the upcoming album, In Arcadia. A lot shorter than the first single, so this one is 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Emergence was 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Man, I loved that first single. There was so many highlight moments that went on in that first single. I mean, it was just all over the place. It was so unstructured, I guess, but like in that sense, there was so much beauty in it being so unstructured. This is what Sleep Token does, is they give you a bunch of different sounds throughout the course of one song. So, I really enjoyed that first song, and it makes me really excited for Caramel. What are we gonna get on Caramel? Is it going to be a similar sound to Emergence? Is this entire theme gonna have a similar sound? Is every track gonna sound different? Are we gonna start to accumulate some type of message or meaning through these first two songs? You guys know me, but it's a little hard for me always on the first listen to get like all of the lyrics. I think especially with a band like this, they really captivate you with their sound, so it makes it even harder to pay attention to lyrics. I know there's going to be critics out there. I've seen you guys in the comments before and say, like if you want to be taken seriously as a music reactioner, then you got to put headphones on. Dude, like I get it, like I get the sentiment, but I feel like I still get a shit ton even without headphones. And as I've told you guys so many times, this is not my domain. This is not my expertise. It's not like I'm making a shit ton of money to really pour into the audio quality and the video quality. I think it's going to come at some point. I think it's going to be down the road. So that's why I say, be patient with me, because the thing that I always do bring to these music reactions is a whole lot of passion. I mean, I love music. I love talking about music. I love listening to music. I love dissecting music. And I always give you guys my most honest, raw, authentic, genuine takes. I'm known for rants and I'm known for venting. That's what I'm good at. If you don't like that, if you don't like the fact that I don't wear headphones, then just get the fuck off my channel. That's all that I ask. You don't have to get in the comments, sit, bitch, and complain. All right, I've done enough talking. Let's get into Caramel and let's see what this new Sleep Token single sounds like. What instrument is that? Is that a freaking xylophone?
Like sirens, pray back for the good times. Right foot in the roses, left foot on the landmine. I'm not gonna be there, tripping on the grapevine. They can sing the words while I cry into the baseline. Wear me out like Prada, devil in my detail. I swear it's getting harder, even just to exhale.
This is different. Oh man, I love the percussion. There's the instrumentation getting a little bit heavier, build up. Damn. There we go. Let's hit it heavy, bro. Oh no! We got some screams. I'll take what I'm given, the deepest incisions. I thought I got better, but maybe I didn't. Interesting. That was Caramel from Sleep Token. I mean, I think the things that I would say, like right off the bat, is, you know, a lot quieter, a lot softer than Emergence. But at the end, we were able to rebound and get some more heavy instrumentation and get some screams from Vessel. I don't know, it's hard, right? Like, it's always hard on a first listen. I don't want to say that I dislike it. I want to say that I'm intrigued. I think I like their heavier stuff better. I'm not saying that I dislike it, but I think that might be a track that's going to grow on me. I think it's going to take at least a few listens to really, understand the sound, because it was so quiet in the beginning. And then at the end, that's where it started to ramp up. You know, there's a lot of lyrics in there, beautiful lyrics. I think probably hard-hitting lyrics. Something about, sticking to me, like Caramel, talking about how this stage is a prison. It's like a beautiful nightmare. People coming after him, coming after the band. That happens all the time. When a band, an artist, a musician, anybody that breaks through and becomes famous, you now become a target to everybody else. So like with their last album in 2023, I want to say that was like the album that like really put them on the map, so probably since 2023, and I don't know them entirely. I don't know their entire discography, But maybe they were gaining that momentum before we hit 2023. But certainly 2023, Take Me Back to Eden, that's when I really started to listen to who these guys are, start hearing about them. You know, they just kept popping up, and at that point, like, you couldn't deny it. Like, you had to go check out and see what all of the noise and the hoopla was about. But yeah, that happens with fame and notoriety. You know, now you become a target to other people. People constantly want your time, they want your attention, and they'll create slanderous lies about you that aren't even true. So I think he's addressing some of those things in the song. At least that's what it sounds like from the lyrics. But he also says near the end that he thought that he was better, and only to come to find out that maybe he isn't. And I don't know what that's a reference to. Like, I know in a lot of Sleep Tokens music in the past, it's like Vessel talking about this relationship that he was in, you know, that was like really bad for him. And so is he referencing back to that? Is it something that's a little bit more current? I feel like just for the sake of the reaction, you know, I want to go through and I want to look at the lyrics and I want to see if we can grab anything of substance. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, so here we are. And the genius annotation, you always take these things with a grain of salt because the song like just came out. So I don't know how much of this is true, but we'll at least read it. What does it mean to be viral? What does it mean to unintentionally create a wild fan base unseen before in the world of metal? What does it mean to get so much attention? What does it mean for your mask to be forcefully pulled when you're very, how the fuck do you say that word? Anonymity? Being anonymous, basically, ironically becomes a magnet. Caramel is the second release from Sleep Token's forthcoming album, Even in Arcadia. The track explores Vessel's internal struggles and the looming threat of his identity being exposed, despite his sole desire to create music while remaining anonymous. The first two questions can be answered with the very promo for this single. With the release, Sleep Token summoned a famed weatherman in the metal community for teasing the single, Chris Michael of WRAL-TV from North Carolina, known for inserting metal references into his weather reports. The story started when he teased that something will come on March 29th, prepare. However, instead of the track like many expected, it's yet another teaser asking fans to chime in on the 31st developing. And at that day, it's just another teaser asking them to meet up on the 2nd. Plant. Unfortunately, some fans had enough. They yelled at Michael and even the simple folks coming in just for the forecast in WRAL's live stream. Frustrated, Michael issued a special statement regarding the issue, stating how he was honored to work with Sleep Token and their label, RCA, for the promo, refuting accusations that he did this as a troll, unofficially. The plant was then never known, and the promo immediately cut off to the single announcement and release date. The second set of questions proposed here can be answered by the lyrics itself. Their members' identities were leaked, completely attacking their secrecy, with fans yelling their real name for attention. Their atypical musical style divides the metal community, especially with their sudden rise. Many, especially the metal traditionalists and elitists, hated them for headlining Download, for example. Having so much fan accounts and much more wild fans analyzing their every move, all of these lingers in Vessel's head. The price of fame, especially a sudden one, is a double-edged sword in nature. In the YouTube premiere of the track, the crest of House Viridian and Feathered Host flash across the screen several times before the video begins, treating HV as zeros and FH as ones. This sequence is binary code, which translates to Damocles? This refers to the sword of Damocles, which signals that the band and or its members are in a position of power in which something terrible could happen at any time, such as their identities or other personal identifiable information being leaked. Well, that's a lot to take in, but that gives you clarity. That gives you, us fans, something to look into. That Vessel and members of Sleep Token are struggling with this because they tried to remain anonymous for as long as possible. But that, I think, was one of the bigger draws to them. I mean, obviously their music is so fucking good. You know, I think that's undeniable. But I think being anonymous was just another reason why so many people were captivated by this group. And so, you know, they gain popularity, they gain rise, they get bigger, and it's harder to stuff that down. It's harder to, you know, keep yourself minimal because now you're in the limelight and people are going to be looking for those things. And so it just kind of shows that no matter who you are, like even if you're a regular person like me, or if you're somebody that's famous like Vessel and the other members of Sleep Token, we all have struggles. We all have these things that kind of weigh inside of our heads. And I don't know how you deal with something like that. Like, you know, I think me being on YouTube, like, I think that was something that I always desired, is like, you want that attention. You want people to come over to your channel. And then like, I would get upset because I wasn't getting enough views. I wasn't getting enough clicks. Like all of those things. But sometimes I'm like, you know, maybe that is good, because obviously the more exposure that I get, you're going to get more and more people that are trying to come after you, that are trying to make life even harder for you. And I don't think anybody's ready for that. Certainly not young people. I don't know how old all of these members are in the band, but that is a hard thing to adjust to. I know they're doing it for the love of music, and that's what you have to keep central and at the core and at the forefront of what you do at all times. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to continue. I mean, I think there have been times on this YouTube channel where I lose sight of what was the reason that I started this whole thing. Why do I do music reactions? Because, like I said earlier, I love music. I love talking about music. I love dissecting music. And sometimes we lose sight of that. So it's crazy. Everybody's got struggles. Everybody's going through something. These guys are on top of the world, and you would think, oh man, that probably makes them happy. That's like feeding their soul. It's the double-edged sword. Like, you want to put your music out there, doing it for the love of the music, but now all of a sudden you got this attention and exposure, and it's hard to remain anonymous. I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this, man. I mean, I enjoyed the song, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it was slow for my taste. It's not that, I don't feel like Sleep Token is always predominantly heavy, but I think they have a lot of heavy elements in a lot of their songs. So this was a different twist. This was different for me to absorb. I feel like going into Sleep Token, you kind of have like a certain context or a certain idea in your head of like what you're going to hear. And I feel like by listening to this song, it has completely shattered my idea of like what Sleep Token normally sounds like. But I think it'll be a grower. I think it'll be a song that like definitely grows on me over time. It was just, I guess, hard to be moved throughout the course of this song. I mean, probably the whole time that I was listening to it, there was probably a confused look on my face because I was just trying to figure out these sounds. And that's okay. That's okay for a first reaction. You're not going to get everything. It's just not possible in a first reaction. So, guys, please give me your thoughts on this song, the lyrics, the entire situation. Nonetheless, I'm still very excited for the album to come out. You know, it's going to be in May, so we got pretty much a month left before we get the entire project. It's only 10 songs, so it's a little bit shorter for an album, but that might make the songs just even more impactful. So guys, I'm gonna get off here. That was the reaction. 4 things that I ask that you guys do. You don't have to do all 4 things, but please do one of the 4 things. Number 1 would be to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Number 2 would be like the videos. Number 3 would be comment in the comment section below. And number 4, share this message via social media, or if you talk about it with somebody in person, spreading it word of mouth. Basically, if you came over here, you had a good time, you enjoyed this content, you didn't think it was a waste of your time, I did a good job. Just do me a solid and help me grow this channel. That's all that I ask, guys. Anyways, I'm gonna dip out of here. Thank you guys for coming over to the channel, listening to the music reaction, watching the music reaction, however you consume this content. I will see you guys next week on the next reaction. All right, take care. Bye-bye.